Good afternoon. Let us discuss about Irving Fisher and his economic ideas. He lived during 1867 to 1947. We have already taken his name several times. He was a mathematician, then he turned to as an economist. Then he was also a statistician and pioneer in econometrics. His major works are mathematical investigations in the theory of value and prices. It is published during 1892. Another work is Nature of Capital and Income. It's published during 1906. Another work is Rate of Interest. So his major works are Mathematical Investigation in the Theory of Value and Price, Nature of Capital and Income, and Rate of Interest. His theory of interest is based on time preference. His theory of interest is based on time preference. A preference for present satisfaction. A preference for present satisfaction over future income. He formulated equation for quantity theory of money. He formulated equation for quantity theory of money. So his theory of interest is based on time preference. That means a preference for present satisfaction over future income. We are preferring our present satisfaction, not looking to future income. Then he formulated equation for quantity theory of money. It explains the relation between money and level of prices. His quantity theory of money explains the relation between money and level of prices. That is, normal effect of an increase in the quantity of money is exactly proportional increase in the general level of prices. He explained any normal effect of an increase in the quantity of money. Suppose in our hand 100 rupees. Then due to any normal effect it is increased into 150. Then it is caused to proportionate increase in the general price level. The society's price level also will increase. He explains like that. Then he says that there was a close and direct connection between money and prices. He established there was a close, very near, and direct connection between money and prices. So then we can go to his equation of exchange. He formulated equation of exchange to explain the quantity theory of money. He stated this theory in the form of equation, that is called equation of exchange. His equation state as mv plus m dash v dash equal to pt. Here m means quantity of money. M means quantity of money in our hand. V means the velocity of circulation of money. Suppose in our hand there is 50 rupees. It is transferring to any shop. That shopkeeper will transfer to his bank. Likewise, V means the velocity of the circulation of money, speed of the transferring of the money. Then M dash equal to quantity of bank money. How much money is in bank. Then V dash is the velocity of circulation of bank money. If we deposit cash in any bank. Surely another person it will take as a loan. So B dash is the speed of the circulation of transferring bank cash. T equal to volume of goods and services. T equal to volume of goods and services. Then P means the general price level. So M is the quantity of money, V is the velocity of circulation of money, M dash is quantity of bank money, V dash is velocity of circulation of bank money, T is the volume of goods and service, P means price level. He argued that P mainly depends upon M. Price level mainly depends upon M. Then he arrived at some policy conclusion on the basis of his theory. He concluded his equation of exchange theory as price level depends upon the quantity of money, the way to stabilize the overall price level, thereby the economies control the quantity of circulation, quantity of the currency or quantity of money in circulation. So he concluded his theory to stabilize, to keep stability in the overall price level, the economy should control the quantity of currency or quantity of cash in circulation. Then his next concept is business cycle. The dominant factors of business cycle are over indebtedness and deflation. Over indebtedness and deflation. Business cycle that we have already studied, there are several steps. Progress, then depression, recovery. It is like a wavelength process. Waves are regularly changing. So business cycles also changing the business conditions. So the dominant factors, the important factors of the business cycle are over indebtedness and deflation. So due to change in the inflation and deflation, business cycles will change. Then criticism regarding his theory, it overemphasized the role of money in determination of the price. His theory states that price level depends upon the quantity of money. So he gives more importance, more stress upon the quantity of money. It was not correct. Then based on unrealistic assumption of full employment, like classical economists, he also believed full employment will exist in the economy. Then it does not consider the rate of interest. It does not consider rate of interest. His quantity theory of money does not consider rate of interest as role in the price level. Then does not show how the value of money itself is determined. He cannot explain how value of money is itself determined. He cannot explain that matter also. So his major theory is equation of exchange, that is MV equal to PT, that is price depends upon the quantity of money. Actually it was an unrealistic theory in the economy. And we can go to next economist as Philip Henry Wicksteed. Philip Henry Wicksteed. He lived during 1844 to 1927. He was an Englishman, follower of Jevons. We have already studied the ideas of Jevons. Then Wicksteed also follower of Jevons, interested in the literature and other subjects. He conducted public speech. He conducted public speech regarding economic ideas. His major works are essays on the coordination of the laws of distribution. His major works essay on the coordination of the laws of distribution. So he is mainly concentrated upon the theories of distribution. That is marginal productivity theory of distribution. His main economic idea is marginal productivity theory of distribution. He revealed his marginal productivity theory of distribution. As per his rent theory, every factor was paid its marginal product. There is no residual earner because the entire output will be exhausted. He revealed his marginal productivity theory of distribution. As per his rent theory, every factor was paid its marginal product. We are giving return to each factors of the production. For labor, we are giving wage. For capital, we are giving interest. So, as per his rent theory, every factor was paid its marginal product. There is no residual earner because the entire output will be exhausted. Suppose if the labor's productivity is higher, he will get more wage. But another labor have less productivity, his wage will be different from that of earlier case. So he proposed production function as y equal to function of KLT, y f of KLT. Here K means capital, L means labor, T means land, Y means output. So his major work is marginal productivity theory of distribution. Wicksteed explained marginal productivity theory of distribution. As per his rent theory, every factor paid its marginal product. There is no residual balance because the entire output will be exhausted if every workers are producing product that will be demanded by other sectors. So there is no overproduction. Entire output will be exhausted. Then he proposed a production function as output is the function of capital, labor and land. The next economist is Alfred Marshall. He lived during 1842 to 1924. Marshall was a leader of second generation of marginal utility. His famous works are Principles of Economics, Economics of Industry, and Industry and Trade. We have already studied about Alfred Marshall. From the first day of the economics class, we are hearing his name, father of the welfare economics. His definition of economics is called welfare definition. He was a leader of the second generation of the marginal utility theory. His famous works are Principles of Economics, second one Economics of Industry, third one Industry and Trade. According to him, economics is a study of mankind in the ordinary business of life that examine the part of individual and social action which is closely connected with the attainment and the material requisites of well-being. It is the welfare definition of the economics that we have already studied. And he regarded economic laws as statement of tendencies Marshall considered economic laws, economics theories as statement of tendencies in the society or in the economy. He was aware of the fact that they were not exact as the laws of physics or chemistry. He was aware of the fact that they were not exact as the laws of physics or chemistry. Economics laws are not like as the laws of the economic physics or chemistry. He used a diagrammatic approach for explaining economic theories. Keynes called him as a founder of modern diagrammatic economics. Keynes called Marshall as a founder of modern diagrammatic economics. Then we have so many ideas regarding economics can be studied in next class. Okay, thank you.